Myself and a group of us had a vision that was bigger and broader, that at first seemed like it was impossible. Like, how can us, the students, utilize youth voice to really create a change in our community? But we tackled it. And as you can see, we did something big with everyone else involved. So, you know, this space for us is a possibility to use this space as a trampoline, as a platform to continue to drive forward and to tackle big issues and to work on them collectively and using and bringing together different stakeholders from all the communities, not just the traditional people we have involved, but having community, having youth, having the people who are closest to the problem be here because they have big ideas on how we can find solutions. So I want to use that energy and continue to fuel for more work like this, to use this space, Midway Peace Park, typically as a template that we can use for other park spaces nationally. Because this was a huge success for our community, and we want to continue to make spaces like this that utilize collective action so we can really tackle the issues that we see in our communities. So with that being said, I just want to thank you all for coming today, for being here, for supporting the narrative, for supporting systemic change as we come together in new ways. You know, we all came out of the pandemic and we want to see how the world's going to change. And we realize that it takes each of us. And no, we don't have to have a cape on to do it either. So I just want to thank you all for having our dream and our vision and helping that come true as a community and to see what we all can build together. So there's my whole little spiel that I normally say is I want you guys to repeat after me. Dreams don't work.
Dreams don't work.
Until you do.
Until you do.
Let's make this moment a movement. And I would now like to introduce Diane Regas, president of TPL.
Yeah. Thanks, Khalid. Good afternoon, St. Paul. I'm Diane Regas. I'm president and CEO of the Trust for Public Land, and it is an absolute joy to be here today. It could not be any better, and I'm thrilled to be in this wonderful new park in one of the best park systems in the country. So every year, my organization measures park systems in the 100 biggest cities looking at the factors that people care about most. We look at access, we look at amenities, we look at investments, we look at acreage, and we look at equity. And once again this year, St. Paul and Minneapolis made it into the top 5. So give yourselves a hand. We're here today because Minnesota is leading the way to make sure that everyone gets connected to the outdoors. But yet here in Minnesota and around the country, there's still an important gap. There's so much work to be done because 100 million people in this country, including 28 million kids, do not have a park close to home. That is unacceptable. And there's more troubling news. People in communities of color and lower income communities have access to over 40% less park space per person than people in white communities or people in higher income communities. And we call that the park equity gap, and as an organization we're committed to closing it. The good news is nonprofits like TPL, government, the Biden-Harris administration, businesses and foundations are all working to close this gap with wonderful parks like this one put where they are needed most. Parks like this can be a reflection of the vibrant culture, the diversity, the ideas of a local community. So we know that communities across the country need help. The Outdoor Resources Legacy Program, which was started in 2014, helps provide that help. It is the federal program to help close the park equity gap. And I just want to end with a personal note of thanks to Secretary Haaland for inviting us here today, for being here, for your leadership, for your commitment to equity, to everyone in Congress and the administration who helped make sure that this program was refunded, and that demonstrates your deep commitment to equity, and I just want to thank you for that. And now I will turn it over to Representative Betty McCowan to speak.
Yay! Thanks, Diane.
Well, welcome. This is truly a beautiful day.
And I'm going to talk a little bit about history. I'm going to talk a little bit about the present and what's yet to come. And they all involve generations, and they all involve children. But first and foremost, Madam Secretary, welcome to the 4th District. And I can't wait to tell you more about all the wonderful things here. And Lieutenant Governor Flanagan, we would be remiss if we didn't remind ourselves whose land we are on. We are on the land of the Ojibwe, as we refer to them nationally, and I think more importantly as the Anishinaabe nations, as well as the land of the Dakota and Lakota. So that's part of our history here. So this land was once productive for hunting and fishing and gathering. And then University Avenue came along. And it was transformative as an economic hotbed. I mean, car dealers. I mean, this would be the place to be between Minneapolis and St. Paul. It was the hot place to be on the weekends. And then it grew neglected as economic priorities changed. And then there was a time where it tried to have a bit of a resurgence. And Concordia College behind me used to be Central Medical. And this is where I came when I was expecting my children. And yes, I did look out at the snow parking lot, and it wasn't very attractive. And now we have our new neighbors, our new friends, the new residents of Minnesota living in Skyline. And they looked out, and they didn't see a place for their children to grow. They didn't see a place for their children to explore. And it was the leadership there, Keel, the work that you did with your youth, saying that you wanted to leave something for the next generation. Thank you so very much. And so I think it's fitting that this is called a Peace Park. And I'll tell you why. When kids get together, they don't think about religion. They don't think about race. They don't think about income. They think about having a good time. And we need more of that. So as we work to solve our housing crisis, a pledge that I have made is to make sure that we solve our park crisis at the same time. So thank you all for being here, and I can't wait until I can bring my grandchildren here to the Peace Park. I always forget this. It was screaming at me, Tina, and I didn't want to see your name and have it screech. Senator Tina Smith.
Good afternoon, everyone. And to Governor Walz, Lieutenant Governor Flanagan, Congresswoman McCollum, Senator Klobuchar, to Diane Regis, thank you for your work here. And to Secretary Haaland, we are so just tickled to welcome you to Minnesota and have you be here. And Kalik, you've told us something really important. We thought we were looking at a park, but we are looking at a trampoline. We are looking at a piece of ground, a space that is actually can be an engine for catapulting people into stronger community, into healthier, into better health and better well-being, and into a space that can actually start to dismantle some of the systemic inequities that have plagued this community and this state and this nation for hundreds of years. And to be able to see it come to fruition, not because of the great ideas of those of us in Washington, D.C., though we do have great ideas. But this came to fruition because of the incredible work of this community. Kalik said it, and I believe it so truly. The people who are closest to community, who are closest to doing the work, are always going to know best what will work and what needs to happen. And this park here it dramatizes how true that is. Midway Peace Park is a new park in this community that has been underserved and undergreened. And now that is being repaired, and it is being, but it's more than that. It is just a reimagining of what this community can be and what this community deserves. Now, I am so glad to be here with Secretary Haaland because I think that the federal government, as do my federal colleagues, Senator Klobuchar and Representative McCollum, we believe that the federal government should be a better partner on projects like this, not just to sort of cheer everyone on from the sidelines, but actually have some juice when it comes to getting this done. And that is why this park is so important too, because we have been able to deliver through the Outdoor Recreation Legacy Partnership resources to help realize the vision of this community. And it's a vision that came from Skyline residents, from Gordon Parks High School, from so many people who knew best what was going to work in this community. So thank you so much for welcoming us. Thank you for allowing us to help celebrate this moment. And I'd like to ask you now to welcome my colleague in the United States Senate, Senator Amy Klobuchar.
Well, thank you so much, Tina. Thank you, everyone. We welcome Secretary Haaland here. And I just told her it's like this every day. It's been like this all spring, really starting in what? February, April, every day. And of course, she is an incredible woman. She is the first Native American to serve as cabinet secretary. And she has brought so much to this job. And so we welcome her to the land of 10,000 or more lakes. It is wonderful to be here with the Governor, with Lieutenant Governor Flanagan, and I will note between having the Cabinet Secretary here and Lieutenant Governor, who is the highest ranking Native America in executive office in the United States, we have a pretty cool combo. And then we have, of course, Betty McCollum, who holds such a position of power in the House of Representatives, so we will call her the superstar of St. Paul and her district. And we thank her for everything she has brought back to this area. I'm not going to start naming electeds because I'm going to get in trouble that are out there, but I see a number of our friends from the legislature, county commissioner, and various places. I want to thank you for your local leadership, which has been incredible. Thank you. Diane and Khalik, thank you for your work. I think you all know in Minnesota, we take the outdoors really seriously. I was thinking when I was growing up, I never went on a trip, this is true, until high school with my family that did not involve a tent or a camper. We only went to parks. We went to northern Minnesota, of course, and then we got a little adventurous and went to the Black Hills. Woo! Made it out to the Tetons and Yellowstone, and that was my life growing up. But not everyone has access to that car or access to that camper. And so the urban parks are such a big part of our life. Secretary, when my husband and I got married, we actually had the day of our wedding, had a choice of parks. You could go with my father-in-law, who has taught biology, on a tour of the landscape arboretum, or you could go with my dad on a canoe trip on the lakes in Minneapolis, in which he wore an admiral outfit with a gold sash and a Royal Navy hat. Best use of an urban park. And here we have in the beautiful St. Paul, the Midway Peace Park. And Tina and I both advocated for funding for this, as of course did Betty. And we have worked to make sure that it got a major federal grant that helped to make it what it is today. Midway Peace Park is within a half mile of more than 6,000 residents, as we just noted. And it is leaving literally just a few coverage gaps in St. Paul. Coverage gaps to a lot of people mean phone service or broadband, but with the secretary here we talk parks. And as of now, 99% of people in this city are within a 10-minute walk from a public park. That is extraordinary. And all of our leaders in St. Paul and Ramsey County should be very proud of that. And I think we talked about how the Twin Cities lead the way when it comes to urban parks. But a lot of this, as we look at the model that we set for the rest of the country, is something that the secretary can bring to the rest of the country. And we match her drive to make sure that everyone, no matter their background, their zip code, can enjoy the benefit of green spaces and the outdoors. So I want to thank you, Madam Secretary, for making sure our spacious skies, amber waves of grain, purple mountain majesties, and fruited plains are protected from sea to shining sea. And I think you guys will understand when we refer to the America the Beautiful initiative that the President and the Secretary are leading, why I didn't talk with the people behind me about the words of the brotherhood in that song, because we have many women leading the way. So with that, I want to turn it over to our great governor, who believes not only in America the Beautiful, but of course Minnesota the Beautiful, and has been such a champion for expanding outdoor opportunities across our state. Thank you. I give to our governor.
Thank you, Senator. We're kind of a team, so we're going to do this together. Secretary Haaland, welcome to Minnesota. It is a privilege for us to have you here. I think more importantly, your vision of a more equitable, more accessible outdoor America for all Minnesotans and all Americans really inspires all of us. To our senators and Representative McCollum, I have the privilege of serving in Congress, and I know the esteem that these three are held in. Minnesota is incredibly well represented and leads the way on so many of these issues, so I am incredibly grateful. Diane, the trust is well known, and it should be, for the work that you do protecting these lands. And Kalik, you embody what we aspire to in Minnesota. You have brought leadership out of your community. You've transformed empty space into a space that looks like this. And I think seeing all of you here, these last several years have been hard for everybody. It feels like we need more days like this. When I look out, I see county commissioners, I see state representatives, we see city council members, and I want to give a shout out to my mayor, Mayor Carter, who his vision of what this city can look like in so many ways where everyone is valued inspires me. And to the community members who are here, as we know, projects like this don't happen just because of people with titles. They happen because of the energy that comes from community, that asks elected representatives to do the things necessary to make our communities more livable. And what this space truly means is a family after work getting an opportunity on a nice day like this. I guarantee you come down here later, families will be walking down here, they'll be pushing the strollers, they'll be on the swings, they'll be on the slides, and you'll hear laughter from our children. That's the thing that we missed over the last couple of years, and it's the thing that we're trying to aspire to. And I want to note, each of these folks said so, the vision coming from this program in DC to create these spaces in community is incredibly valuable. We know that there is a legacy of neglecting certain spaces and certain people. We can't have anybody be invisible. We can't have any child not have access to a park, and that's what this partnership means. When you see things work the way they're supposed to, it's so inspiring. People feel heard, they see leadership locally, and they see the partnership coming state and federally. That is an incredible thing, and it takes a vision, and it takes someone to push that through. I'm glad that I've got someone like that by my side every day, and I think you heard, I'm very proud that Minnesota's cutting the way. It's time for doors to be open for leadership for all of us. Lieutenant Governor oftentimes talk about it. Her job was to hold the door open for those who would come behind. And as we watch what happened here in Minnesota and inspiring our young people from all backgrounds to get involved in their community, it inspires us when they see Secretary Haaland in DC. So I'm incredibly grateful to be here. We know we always have more work to do, but I think it's important for us to pause and celebrate successes and enjoy some of the things that make this state and this country so great. So I want to thank all of you for coming out, and I'm going to turn it over to my partner, Lieutenant Governor Flanagan, to introduce her friend.
Thank you. So I don't know if you could hear the tiny voice up there that said, "Mama, you can see everything from here." That is what this is all about. We can see everything from here. And so this is the Minnesota, Madam Secretary, that we love and that we're so proud of, that puts community first and gives voice to community to create spaces and places that we all deserve. And many of you know Madam Secretary as Madam Secretary. Indian country knows her as Auntie Deb. And so that is a title that she embodies because she takes care of all of us. And she's an example for all of us. And I'm so sorry. I'm so excited that she's here. and that we get to welcome her here. It is powerful to showcase the best of Minnesota in this moment. And so with that, I would like to introduce to you my friend and our Secretary of the Interior, Deb Haaland.
Thank you so much, Madam Lieutenant Governor. Thank you, Governor. Thank you, my dear former colleague, Betty. Senators, I'm really honored and proud to be here. I wanted to just let you know that I am here with our amazing Assistant Secretary of Fish and Wildlife and Parks, Shannon Estenos. Shannon informed me that she has the best, she's in charge of fish, and wildlife and parks, and she said that was the best one. So. I think she likes the parks part better than anything. As we were walking down here, there was a little boy up there in a suit, and he was playing. And I looked at the Lieutenant Governor and I said, "There's a little boy in a suit playing in the playground." She said, "That's how we roll here." So good on you. Good on Minnesota. But hello, everyone. I'm so thrilled to be here with all of you in beautiful St. Paul, and thank you, Congresswoman, for acknowledging that we are on the ancestral homelands of the Ojibwe and the Dakota, people who have stewarded this land for millennia. And so I thank all of you who take care of this park and who do the good things to steward our land now. You follow a very, very strong and great tradition. I first want to start by thanking the leaders up here with me today for their warm hospitality and for all of your amazing work on behalf of the great people of Minnesota. Each of you are so integral to the state's ongoing efforts to increase both the number and quality of green spaces for families to recreate and enjoy. And I also want to thank the local and state leaders present with us here today. It's because of your collaborative efforts that generations, yes, you can clap for them. It's because of your collaborative efforts that generations long into the future can continue to develop a mutually beneficial relationship with the outdoors. At the Interior Department, we understand that nature is essential to the health, well-being, and prosperity of every family and every community in America, but not everyone has the same access to nature. We are committed to ensuring that everyone, no matter where they are from, can enjoy the benefits of nature, which is why I am so happy to be among these amazing champions for outdoor access to announce that the Department of the Interior, through the Outdoor Recreation Legacy Partnership Program, is investing more than $61 million in 26 cities across the United States. This is the biggest amount of funding for this program yet. These investments, made possible by the Land and Water Conservation Fund, will go directly into cities and communities for the renovation of urban green spaces and the creation of new parks and trails across our neighborhoods. I wanted to come here because Minnesota is one of the big winners, securing nearly $9 million in funding for this round alone. And because the Twin Cities are national leaders in showing how it's done when it comes to parks, you prioritize them, you invest in them, and you make sure they are accessible to all. These projects will provide opportunities for people, especially young people, to connect or reconnect with the outdoors right in their own backyards. The Department of the Interior is deeply committed to prioritizing equity and justice in all our work, which is why the selected projects will help empower youth in underserved communities and provide opportunities for employment and job training. Midway Peace Park, where we are today, is a testament to the impact of this funding. The park received a grant through the Outdoor Recreation Legacy Partnership Program in 2019.
You can see firsthand the community benefits of building urban outdoor spaces just like this, where children can play, and there's evidence right there. Families can connect, and a love and appreciation for the outdoors can be nurtured. Earlier this morning, I also visited Willard Park in Minneapolis, which stands to receive $1.3 million through this program to expand and renovate park amenities. Additional awardees in Minnesota are Rice Recreation Center in St. Paul and Soldiers Field Park. Folks can check in with Tyler, he's right here, to receive the full list of selected cities invited to submit final applications for their proposals, which will be going out shortly. And in fact, we are here for you. If you need to contact us, you can just give us a call for any reason. These parks, each in a different phase of urban renewal, underscore the importance of the Biden-Harris administration's America the Beautiful initiative, a locally led and voluntary campaign to conserve, connect, and restore our nation's lands and waters. At its core, America the Beautiful aims to pursue conservation and restoration efforts that create jobs and bolster climate resiliency, all while creating more parks and safe outdoor opportunities in nature-deprived communities. And thanks to funding from President Biden's bipartisan infrastructure law, this administration announced a $1 billion America the Beautiful challenge. This is an opportunity for states, tribes, territories, local groups, non-governmental organizations, and others to apply for funding to accelerate land, water, and wildlife conservation efforts across the country. Taken together, all of these investments are essential to expanding access to the outdoors, advancing the administration's equity and environmental justice goals, and helping to address the climate crisis. I want to reiterate my thanks to Governor Walz, Senator Smith, Congresswoman McCollum, and all the and Senator Klobuchar as well, and all the amazing local, state, and state leaders with us today. Thank you so much. Thank you for your tireless efforts to expand access to the outdoors, and that is transforming lives of people in so many profound ways. Thank you all so much for what you do. And Tyler says we can take a few questions. If any of us will take questions.
We'll have time for just a few questions. If you can identify from members of the media, if you can identify your name and your outlet and direct your question to a speaker, that would be great. Eric, we'll start with you.
This is for Madam Secretary Eric Schlu from KSVP. Yesterday, you named a commission that will look into murdered and missing cases. Could you talk about the importance of this commission now beginning, and then your message to the 11 tribal communities here in Minnesota that have been waiting to hear this action?
Thank you so much for your interest in that issue. Missing and murdered indigenous people, it's been a priority of mine since when I was in Congress. It's been a priority of my former colleagues here as well. The Not Invisible Act, I was very proud to get through the Congress when I was in Congress, and now I have the honor of implementing that law. It will be a commission of folks, tribal leaders, law enforcement, survivors, family members, to give us recommendations on what we need to do. I want to emphasize the fact that missing and murdered indigenous people has been happening for 500 years, since the natives were colonized, since Native Americans were colonized on this continent. And so I don't have an announcement as of yet. We are rolling that out. That will be an important piece to the continued effort to make sure we're moving forward with that issue. Thank you.
What do you hope to hear? What do you want to come out of it?
Well, I mean, we're hoping to just get the recommendations, finding out what it is that we need to do. This, as I said, it's a 500-year-old issue. We're not going to solve it with 1 or 2 pieces of legislation.
Secretary Theo Keith from KMSP here in the Twin Cities. Madam Secretary, your agency has made a decision on the Twin Metals mines in northern Minnesota that has been controversial here in the state. Are you committed to seeing that project through in some way, and will you visit northern Minnesota to talk with the people up there about it?
I would love to. I would love to visit. As you know, this is a really important ecological area, not only for Minnesota but for the entire country. And I think it's important for us to make sure that whatever activity is happening on that important land, that we just assess to make sure that we're not doing anything that will harm the land, essentially. So the process is moving through, and yes, I would love to go up there.
Do you see a way where that project would be allowed by your agency to go forward?
I can't answer that right now. Thank you.
Alex?
I don't know the answer to that.
Last question. Anyone else?
Thanks, Evan.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Dina Moini with NPR News. Is there any update on the Indian boarding schools report that you could share as well? That's another important issue.
Yes, and thank you for caring about that as well. I don't have, the report is in its final stage. The first report is in its final stages. As soon as it's ready to roll out, I trust that you'll hear about it. It'll be soon, though. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. I'm gonna go say hi to you.
I'm coming to say hi.
Yeah, go get a picture.
Hey, how's it going?
Wonderful. Thanks, folks. Days like this. Betty, thank you. I'll be there.
I think
You tell me what you want to say. I think it helps you. I want to.
I know we need to.
You're around. You came in just look for this.